agreeing to be first victim of our pilot project SIWA Unscripted. Here we are trying to introduce SIWA leaders, some of our remarkable alumni and some of the SIWA members to our online community. It is our small attempt to showcase who we are, what we stand for, and what we are trying to achieve together as a community. To start with, would you like to tell us more about yourself, your journey to the SIWA president?
Sure. So I left Korea when I was 11. So I do understand some parts of Korean culture, but it's a long time ago. Moving to US and then growing up in some suburban areas for 4 years, there was a completely different kind of experience. And then being in the city, New York City, and coming back to Korea about 10 years ago with my family. So it's a completely different kind of culture. I studied music. However, I also had a chance to embark on maybe different interest in political science and political law. I kind of gave up doing both because I was not a model student actually. So coming back to Korea and joining SIWA, eventually taking up leadership position, I think it kind of helped me utilize maybe all my experiences to maybe pursue our mission and leading a team and work on our vision. I don't know if I answered your question, but
yeah. So it's like so you majored in music from the prestigious Juilliard College, then you went on to get a PhD in music, and now when you came back to Korea, you joined the social life and the SIWA took over the SIWA presidency. So was this path kind of you thought about it that you will shift from the music to the social life, and also how was this path unfolded? Was it always in your mind that you wanted to be in the social life, or there was some turning point when you thought?
To me, I think doing music is not so different from what I'm doing in SIWA right now. Reason being that creativity is part of everyday life, and my purpose for music or piano playing or performing was to communicate with my audience, because without that, it meant nothing to me. So coming to SIWA, trying to work with everybody and trying to listen to our members, and we talk about social aspect of philanthropy aspect or many different kind of aspects. To me, connecting, there's always this part of connecting and communicating. I don't feel so differently about it. The two are so different because I really get to think a lot about listening to what other people are doing and trying to make some kind of connection with what we do with others. So it's been not knowing what's coming up. To me, it doesn't really bring me fear, but rather gives me some kind of curiosity and adventure.
Enthusiasm.
So everybody's, I guess it's how I think. So I don't think it was so challenging, or it's interesting. It's been interesting, yes.
And how was moving back to Korea? You were being Korean, but then you got adjusted to the American way of life, and now getting adjusted to the Korean culture, was it difficult? You felt accepted, or there was some struggle to adjust?
Right. It's a kind of a personal question. I say that because to be honest with you, the first 4 or 5 years was very challenging because I look Korean, I look Asian, so I think there was some kind of expectation, although I have different kind of mindset. Also, the interesting thing is that when I was back in the States, in the city, I thought I knew so much about different cultures, but coming to here, meeting people, different people from different culture background, has taught me how little I knew, and it really humbled me. So it was challenging because I had a lot of negative thoughts about Korea, but then the commonality between where I come from, my cultural background, and with everyone else, my friends, who also have different kind of cultural background, because of the shared common kind of background, I think it gave me a lot of strength to overcome the cultural conflict within Korea.
Right.
But it took me about 4 or 5 years to get used to it. And now I really do embrace Korean culture, and I do love it. And it's very different from the time when I used to live here.
That's great. So back to SIWA presidency. So you took up this task in one of the most challenging times when the pandemic has stalled almost all the activities. And what I heard in past, SIWA used to be a very big community, but this community was kind of drifting away because there was no socialization, no events, and you had a humongous task of building this community back almost from the scratch. So how do you look up at this challenge? Was it difficult to build it back, and how do you felt about taking this challenge?
I think that Corona, the pandemic, taught not just me, everybody. It gave us many different kind of lessons. We talk about unity and inclusion and diversity, communication, connection, but it almost, in my mind, it almost felt like it became like a cliche. However, during the pandemic, I really experienced the power of strength of coming together, connecting. And we don't have to be exactly the same, but because of our similarity and differences, that we can actually work together. So I think I became president almost like accidentally. As you know, that I was part of the welfare committee, and I was the chair for a few years. And I think it was a very, I wouldn't say, it is a little bit daunting, because I always thought that SIWA, we have different parts. We have a philanthropy parts and social, but we had the big social parts. And it's not that I love people, but it's not because I don't care about it, but I wasn't sure if I could actually do two things. I felt like it was two separate things. Our team, we talked a lot about how shall we move forward, and how can we rebrand and re-identify who we are, and what's most important to us, because we can't cover everything else, right? So I think when we came up with our very focused mission as what is it that we are trying to pursue or we are trying to achieve, then I think the big picture became very clear to me, and I think our team, I hope. And I think that I'm not just saying this, but being with people that who really believes in this mission really gave me so much strength and inspiration. And I didn't think so much about transitional period. We say, you know what, we have this shared mission. We just go for it and see what happens. Yeah. So I think I was a little bit adventurous. Yeah.
Great. So coming on to the philanthropy part of SIWA. So we have been working with you since like last year, and I have seen your passion for sustainability, women empowerment, charity, philanthropy. Also, you work with the aged out youth from the orphanages. So what was again, I will talk about little bit about your personal life, that when you felt that these issues matter to you and you should be working on them. And so because I see that you have even a personal relationship with the aged out youth from orphanages, and you keep the track of what SIWA is doing with the charities and all. So where does this passion comes from? Like, when do you feel that I should be doing this?
Thank you for the question. Instead of focusing on result, let's say I am a firm believer of process. I really do believe the process is very important. Therefore, even with the mentees, I call them mentees, but they're like almost like, they actually are my mentors, because I learned so much from them. And even all the issues that, we do have 3 strong missions, it's about women's empowerment, philanthropy, and sustainability. I think that the passion came from, because I learned so much from SIWA members and friends, that whereas before it was very, my knowledge, I pretend to know a lot, but actually it's very shallow, that I only knew the surface, thinking that I know a lot. So when we talk to other people or members or friends who actually have passion for this specific kind of topics, that you really listen to them and you realize you know, there's something, even though I might not have a lot of knowledge, there's something I can contribute. And by being together, that we can do this. So that kind of mindset, I think it's still kind of, it's a catalytic energy that kind of drives me, that I could fail, it's okay, because I have my team members and friends who still support and can work together through challenges. To me, I really do believe that my team, the friendship is the motivation that drives me to try to make an impact.
That's great. So coming to SIWA's work, I remember when I joined SIWA, I came with the sole impression that I'm joining a social club where I can interact with the fellow women from different countries. It's more just for the socialization purpose, and I heard that SIWA does some kind of charity, so I thought, yeah, the socialization with some purpose. But when I really started working with SIWA, it turned out to be like a Pandora's box, that it has so much more to offer than just the socialization. We make the friendships, there is a cross-cultural exposure, there is a philanthropy, charity, volunteering opportunities, so many more things SIWA is doing. Also, what impressed me more was the charities we are doing are in line with our beneficiaries' needs. So it's not like we have got the money, so we are just dumping it to the charity and we are not concerned about what they are doing with the money. It's like we are in continuous contact with our charities and what they need, so our provisions are according to their needs, and we have a sustainable relationship with our charities, and which was highlighted when we visited the SIWA. So it was kind of a transforming experience. So would you like to talk about this way of philanthropy of SIWA, how we approach it, and what is more in store for us?
Sure. I think the social aspect and the philanthropy aspect should not be divided, and I think it's actually one, because the purpose of us socializing is to get to know each other, and also we learn from each other and we build friendships. And the friendship becomes something meaningful when you really communicate, understand each other. And if you think about it, it's a giving on both parts. You're giving some parts of yourself to the other person. Philanthropy is the same. It's actually giving part of yourself to something. It's an organization. Organization is made of people. We are supporting people. It's not so much the organization. I think that, we went through a lot of transformation, not just SIWA, but Korea went through a lot of transformation. When I joined the SIWA and became a part of the welfare committee, I think we gave a lot of funding to different charities. So we had about 50 to 60 charities that we were funding. And then I remember us trying to change our direction, how we do our philanthropy work. Instead of maybe giving funding, not just the funding, that we try to do more volunteering. In order for us to do that, we have to understand who they are and what they're trying to do. And we also have to understand what they're going through, right? In order for us to understand that, we have to have a relationship. So we create a lot of forums, and some of our members, volunteers, gave some free kind of sessions. I remember one of the leaders giving yoga class, and some of us also went there and took photos, and we helped them trying to organize some kind of different kind of Q&A. Then we got to know a little bit of who they are. What is it they are really suffering from, right? Otherwise, that if we just fund without understanding what they're going through, it just becomes, it's like you just give them something little to make ourselves feel good about it. Yeah. And then we learned, and they were more honest with us. They were not just giving us like model answers, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, what we want to hear. I think that we cannot cover all charities. We cannot cover 50, 60 charities. So, because we have 3 missions, we talked about women and youth. Those are 2 top philanthropic, purposes that we have. So we started working with KUNFA, Korean Unmarried Mothers Families Association. We learned about what is that within the Korean culture. Instead of criticizing the culture, we have to understand why they were suffering, what they were going through. Then they told us, you know, we want to meet with you more. So we started going meet with them, talk more with the director, and then we saw a lot of good things and some negative things. And then we were convinced, okay, then we need to really build a better relationship. That's why we went to visit, not just KUNFA, but we went to visit SIWA. I know you were there too. Yeah. And then we spoke with some children. We met one child who really wanted to study English and want to go abroad, right? Yeah. So with social part and philanthropic part, it's all about human relationship. We have to have a relationship in order for us to support them. So now that's what we are trying to build upon. We try to have more relationship. So now we are working with the SIWA and maybe Eastern Social Welfare Society. And we have another organization, Every Mother in Child, which was founded by previous KUNFA director. We are looking into all different kind of charities, but we will select them so we can build relationship instead of spreading ourselves thin. As you know, we are in the process of making more collaborations, and we are trying to form partnerships, not just with the charities, right? We have a relationship with the charities when we understand that we can bring another partner. It could be international students, diplomat community, corporations. Then we can work through different kind of challenges by partnering, and we can be more powerful in making different kind of impact. It's not about finding solutions. We are not a problem solver. We can't do that. However, we can have some influence, and when we show them support, they actually are more empowered, and they have courage to actually work on their problems. So that's what we'll be doing more, the collaborations and partnerships.
I like this word, the partnership and collaboration, because when we talk just about charity or philanthropy, we are like, one is at the giving end and other is at the receiving end, and like we think that we are doing some kind of favor, but it's not the thing. It's better to be a partner and evolve together as a society. And also the obviously when we visited So Young and ESWS, their need is more than just the charity or philanthropy. They want to be included there. So I really appreciate this approach of inclusiveness. Moving forward to SIWA's future, we just completed our AGM for this membership year, and in AGM we announced that SIWA will be changing its structure to the NGO. So I would like to know more about what does it mean for our members, and also like what I saw in the past, most of the members were coming to SIWA generally for the socialization purpose. But now I think our members are also changing, their nature is changing. There are more channels available for the socialization purpose. But the members are coming more in the form that they want to make a difference. When they search for the volunteering opportunities, the SIWA's name pops up in the Google. So they are coming with a little bit different view than just socialization. So what this change in structure to the NGO means for its members, and what is in store for the upcoming membership year?
Sure. You know, one of our strengths is, probably biggest strength, is our ability to bridge the local and international communities. I think the language actually doesn't matter when it comes to giving, sharing, volunteering. In order for us to create more partnership with local nonprofits or charities, we need to change our status nonprofit. Because when we approach local charities or nonprofit, it doesn't matter who we are. Because when we introduce ourselves and see that we are kind of doing numerous things, it could be, nothing's wrong with doing social aspect, but social philanthropy and this and that, it makes us look like that we are kind of doing so many different things and we are not certain of who we are. So that's number one. We need to be very clear about the kind of work that we are doing. Otherwise, they will not be interested in partnering with us. The second one is the sponsorship part. In the past, we did have a lot of sponsorships, but then we lose it. We had maybe some kind of fundraiser, and then we said that we are going to give our fund to charities. We always said charities. We never said like which cause. The time is different now, and there's so many nonprofit and so many charitable work. And if we are very dedicated to what we are trying to accomplish, we need to be clear about what is our missions are. Because when the sponsors, they ask us, what is it that you are doing? We can no longer say, oh, we're helping charities. That's not good enough because there's so many, right? And in the past, we had some corporations who were interested in supporting us. They wanted to do like matching fund, and they actually gave a lot of efforts to make it work, but we could not go through it because of our status. We are nonprofit, but we are not acknowledged or recognized as the legally nonprofit within the Korean system or legal status, right? So that, and also if you want to open some kind of volunteering program for, let's say, university students, we also have to be actual nonprofit. One of the things that we want to do, we want to empower youth or young adults and also young women that we need to change our status to create this kind of programs. So, and also when it comes to sustainable programs, we also need to go nonprofit. Because a lot of times we have a great program and then it disappears afterwards. If we work with the local partners, and let's say we create a program and we work together, we have a much better chance of sustaining these kind of programs. These are some, not all the reasons, there's some reasons why we're trying to change our status to nonprofit.
That's nice to hear, and I hope our new members are looking for many more projects coming up from the SIWA where they can contribute. So we are coming to end of our talks, and some little bit fun part. You have to answer in one word to choose from the options, some rapid fire questions. Your favorite SIWA social, coffee morning or social nights?
Are you asking me to choose between?
Yes.
That's a tough one. Okay. Because Como is to me it's much more broad, right? Because you meet different people, but you really don't get to really go into a deep conversation, let's say. Social night, I think, at least for me, I get to know the person much better because it's a little bit more, I would say, intimate settings, because sometimes our coffee morning is really large and social night gets large, but now I think it's become a little bit more intimate. So it is very tough for me to choose between the two. So I would say I love both of them. So I know I'm not like giving you a clear answer.
No goodie bags for you.
Yeah.
Okay, Korean food or American food?
Korean food.
Okay. Sure, tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Americano or latte?
Latte.
Great. The issue close to your heart and you think which needs immediate action, especially in this society, it's an issue of aged out youth or women empowerment.
Oof, that's a difficult one. I would say women.
Women empowerment.
The reason is because the youth, a lot of people are interested. Women, a lot of people are interested, but you have to be a certain kind of person to really take actions.
Stand for it. Okay, thank you, Sunghwa. Thank you
so much. It was a lot of fun. Thank you.